Many workers heading back to the office for the first time today since the start of the pandemic. But how long will it last? Kathryn Minshew is the CEO and co-founder of online career platform The Muse, joins us now. Kathryn, are workers excited to be back in the office?
You know, it's a mixed bag. We see currently about 37% of people who categorically do not want to go back into an office. They want to stay fully remote. But that said, there's a slightly larger percentage of the workforce, so around 40% of people who want to spend some of their time in the office, and a little over 22% that are excited to go back full time. So it's very, very interesting watching all of these different perspectives sort of come into conflict as companies start to return into physical office locations.
With the Delta variant continuing to surge throughout much of the country, how long do you see these return to work policies lasting? Certainly some major corporations have postponed the return to work until next year at least, but do you see a reversal of people go to work and then they'll be told in 6 weeks, no, you got to stay at home?
Yes, absolutely. For some companies, it's already happening. And it's very interesting because, as you said, we already have a number of major corporations, Amazon, Apple, Google, Uber, who have set a date and now are pushing it back to January 22 in light of the Delta variant. And this is very much in response to employee pressure. You know, we track workplace sentiment month over month, and every month, because of Delta, more people are saying, I'm actually not ready to go back. For businesses, many of them are looking at how important do they believe in-office collaboration is, how much do they feel like some of their employees may go seek work elsewhere if they're not accommodating. And so a lot of company executives are juggling these really difficult concerns when deciding, do we bring people back into an office? Do we do it provisionally? And I do think many of those employers are going to feel pressure to reverse course if the situation with COVID continues.
What about the office preferences if you break them down between millennials, Gen Z? What do they want?
So it's very interesting because I think that it would be easier in some cases for employers if there were these huge categorical differences where everyone in a certain generation wanted one thing, et cetera. What we tend to see is that the further along someone is in their career, the more likely they are to have a better work from home setup, a better network. They're less likely in some cases to crave that in-office environment. Whereas a lot of the younger workers, particularly Gen Z and early career millennials, many of them are still starting out. They still feel like they need to establish themselves, build those connections and mentorship. And so they are slightly more likely in our data set to crave that in-person environment, but not every single day. So there's a stronger preference for flexibility. When we ask job seekers, what factors are you considering in making that next move? Remote work or workplace flexibility is consistently very, very high. So I think we're not going to see that part of the equation go away.
Kathryn, thank you so much. Great insight. We'll see you soon. Kathryn Minshew.
Thank you.